Hello, everyone. It seems that hey, I'm back after a 3-week hiatus. Welcome back to Oomfie News, your number one source for every piece of drama on Twitter, where we talk about politics, anime, and anything related to Oomfies. So today I'm joined by a very special guest, I should say. We're joined by Melon. Say hello to the mic, please.
Hello.
I understand you're Swiss, right?
On paper, yes.
On paper. What's that meant to mean? Like you're German or something?
No, I meant like immigration.
Oh, immigration. Oh, I
No,
see.
I was born there, but my parents immigrated here from other parts of the world,
Okay.
specifically the Serbian part of Bosnia.
I see. I shouldn't be surprised considering how much Europeans really love to go around all over the place. So not to say you're all the same, it's just that you love race mixing between yourselves. So. Anyway, I digress. It's the pot calling the kettle black because Filipinos also love race mixing. So for our audience here, what do you identify politically as? And what would you say your denomination is?
Well, I mostly did my own thing, but I think the best way to describe it is like third positionism. Like, for example, Mussolini isn't exactly right wing, he's third positionist. He took ideas from the right and from the left.
Yeah, definitely.
And domination Serbian Orthodox Christian. It's just a domination I was born with and I will keep it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think especially with Orthodox bros, I think there is a sense of like loyalty, I guess, to one's church, and I do admire that among Orthodox folks, especially with the how it's tied to certain nationalist tendencies as well. I think it's a beautiful thing when that happens. So I've heard the criticism that you shouldn't call yourself third positionist and you should just call yourself fascist because you're being a pussy, apparently, if you call yourself third positionist. Have you seen that criticism going around, and how would you respond to it?
No, I haven't seen that around.
I see.
I mean, essentially, fourth positionist is you can use it as just as fascist or third positionist. I don't see a problem. I just don't see a problem with calling myself a third positionist or a fascist. Just with fascism, it's like a clear doctrine from each country. Like Mussolini had his own ideas, and like others like Salazar, and Codriano. But third positionist, I think it's more vague, which for the beginning should work fine.
Yeah, definitely. That's fair. That's fair to say. And I think there's because I don't really have a I know I always call myself like what do I call myself? Filipino nationalist, which doesn't really mean anything actually. Because the label which I've settled on actually is a minarchist with the right-wing authoritarian sympathies, which doesn't really mean anything because I'm right-wing in a sense that I do like the state, and I would like the state to extend its power as much as possible, to infiltrate into the lives, to like interfere in the lives of peoples, if they're being degenerate, right? I want the state to be able to interfere with that, but I also want the state to step back and be able to let the free market engage, it still engage in itself, and I don't. Yeah, so my ideology is very, very, very mixed. So I think calling yourself third positionist, it allows for that flexibility, and you don't have to really follow a very strict doctrine. I think it's on a case by case basis as well. So that's the, I guess, beauty about using a label which is much more flexible in that sense. So yeah. Anyway, I digress though. I digress. All right. So our first news topic for today is the recent Argentinian election, where Javier Milei became the one by a landslide. They call it a landslide, even though he just got 56% of the vote. But
it's nothing.
Yes. But I think
but yeah, it's not. Of course, it's not nothing, but it's not a landslide.
Yeah, definitely. I will note that 56% is probably like that 6% margin is probably a couple million people. So, yeah,
Oh,
I guess in that, if you frame it that way, I guess so. You could call it a landslide, but if you're just talking about the percentages, it's certainly not a landslide. So. However, I do find it interesting. He is a very interesting man, right? He is pro-life, right? And he is pro-America as well, pro-American foreign policy, and very anti-socialist foreign policy as well. I think he's taken a harder stance on countries like Venezuela and not trading with China and things like that. So, however, unfortunately, one of the things about he is a self-described anarcho-capitalist, which means that he is in favor of deregulating. How should I say this on YouTube? I was going to say prostitution, which I can't say on YouTube. So, I'll have to edit it out. What's a good code word for it? We'll say, yeah, he wants to deregulate the selling of your body, I suppose.
The selling of your body. No, the deregulation of going with certain people in dark spaces to do dark things.
Yes, very, very dark things. We shall say.
Very, very.
So, he's disappointing in that, and he is also, of course, just like every right winger. It is unfortunate, I think, that Israel has. I saw it on TLDR News, but Israel has become a right wing project. It's unfortunate that it's been associated that way, because that means every right winger does have to support Israel now, which is it's it's
not the reality.
Yes.
I mean, can we forget history from 70, 80 years ago?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's interesting, very interesting, man. I think, well, considering the alternatives, I suppose he's the best. Like, of all the evil people who would have been elected as president, he would have been the least evil to be elected. So that's been my position on Mr. Milei, or President Milei, I should say now. But yeah, did you have any thoughts on the Argentinian election?
Well, in all honesty, I think, considering you said he was the least evil option, still, he seems to be more like a pawn for America to expand their influences there in Argentina, to economically dominate the country even more, which seems really sad, sadly.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess the good thing is he is against wokeism, which is like at least something.
It's like the absolute minimum for a right winger to demonstrate. So
exactly.
Yeah. He's all right, and I, as I said on Twitter as well, like if this was like 2 years ago when I was still a narco-capitalist, I think I would have been I would have been absolutely ecstatic. But now that I've had like time to grow up, actually think about these things, I think what he's doing in terms of like just deregulating everything and destroying a lot of state institutions, I think it's cool. But we'll see if it actually works out for them. So yeah,
I think that would rather hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
I mean, by deregulating everything, it would also make room for maybe foreign investors, and that wouldn't go very nice.
Yeah,
and
that's
I just
because as you were saying, right, with the American influence, right, I think by deregulating everything, you're just inviting American foreign influence, which it doesn't really fix anything, right? So
no,
yeah.
rather much better if the Argentinians have owned everything in Argentina.
Yeah, rather than the Americans.
Exactly. Oh, and just remembered the last anarcho-capitalist I met was like a Islamic Hopkin dude in London.
Oh
on
my
the internet,
goodness.
of course, but
yeah,
I miss him. He was cool.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing with libertarian. Well, I don't really want to call them libertarian brothers, but yeah, you know, they're still technically on the economic right, but they don't have the same loyalties to cultural issues, and I guess they're more likely to bend on them. Even though Malay is on certain cultural issues, he's very, very strict on like the pro-life issue, right? But on other things, I'm pretty sure on immigration, he's pretty lax on immigration as well. So, which is that's basically it in terms of Argentina. Of course, we wish the best of luck to them. And of course, if it works out, hey, that's pretty cool. Now we actually have a semi-anarcho-capitalist state in the world. So, yeah.
God bless the Argentinians.
Yes. God bless Argentina. Moving on to our next topic for today. I was pretty late to this one. On the 23rd of November, an account called Theodore. Previously, they did have a K-On profile picture. They have changed it as a result of this tweet, though. The tweet reads, "I'm glad the Frieren demon arc is over, because I really didn't care for a whole arc trying to justify fantasy racism," which of course, like, it was amazing considering a K-On profile picture not liking racism, which is like it's impossible, right? It's impossible.
Truly, my culture is not your costume moment.
Yeah, truly. Oh my goodness. If you guys have seen my video on Total Demon Death, which I totally approve of, it's not racist, right? Like, we are told to hate everything that is evil, right? Or part of loving God, right? And part of loving others is a hatred for everything which is evil. I was asking around Protestant circles in terms of, are we supposed to hate Satan? And there's really mixed responses among Protestants, which is like, you're not supposed to hate Satan because he's a created being. And I found that it did give me pause, but there were other Protestant sources that were like, no, it is okay to hate Satan because hating Satan is actually loving, because you're loving God in your rejection of everything that is evil. So fantasy racism against demons. Christian Anime Podcast, you heard it here first. Christian Anime Podcast endorses fantasy racism against demons. So there you go. Which was, did you first see this tweet, by the way, when it first came out?
No, I think I saw some YouTubers complaining about this tweet, but I haven't looked into it.
I see.
Really, because it's Twitter. Not everything's important on Twitter. But it is very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny tweet, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And I think the original situation, when you still had the K-On profile picture, yeah.
Oh my God.
Chef's kiss. Absolutely chef's kiss. Have you watched Frieren, by the way?
Yes, I watched it. I even watched the new episode today.
Oh, nice.
Very lovely.
Well, I think my short's gonna release in, well, about an hour after we finish recording this. But what did you like about it, actually?
Well, apart from the art side, I like the way how it's told. Even though at the start it didn't really interest me that much, and it grew on me from this perspective. I can't speak. Perspective of Frieren after 30 years of the adventure, 30 years of Himmel's death. It was very beautiful to look at it, very beautiful to learn about the relationship between Frieren and her old mates, especially with Himmel. And I can only imagine what will happen if they meet again in heaven. I would love to watch it more.
Yeah,
it's great. Also, I love the fact the names are just German words.
I wasn't aware of that. Oh my goodness.
Like Frieren, it's just freezing in German, for example.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
I guess
it was confusing at first, but I appreciate it.
I see. I'll tell you what, it makes more sense that her name is Freezing, because, like, in German, because there's a few lines in I feel like it's the last episode where they called her just like Heiter called her like a cold woman, or something to that effect. But yeah, I guess the joke makes sense now.
Yes.
I was gonna say, because my prediction for the end is, I don't think they'll actually get to heaven. I think they're gonna get there. Frieren will be like, I'll be interested to see either way it goes. Like, I think it'll be good if they actually get to heaven. I think it'll be good if they don't get to heaven as well, and I'll be but I'm pretty sure my prediction is they're gonna end up there. It's gonna be empty, and they won't be able to access heaven unless she actually dies, and then she goes to heaven that way. So
either way.
Yeah. Either way, it'll be like, because I trust the whoever's written the source material for it. I really should know the manga author, but I trust the source material that because the way that the story's been told, I trust that it'll end up good.
Exactly.
What did you think about in terms of this episode? What did you think about like the romantic subplot there and like the relationship starting to build up there?
I mean, the first time I saw Stark, I knew, okay, he's probably gonna end a relationship with Frieren. I mean, they're the two young ones. It kind of makes sense. But
Yeah.
Frieren is indeed a harsh woman.
I think it's
gonna take a lot of time.
my short talks about like because I think this is one thing about modern relationships which is missing now, which is that ability to argue with someone and then afterwards you forgive and forget. This episode perfectly demonstrated where Fern was very, very angry and Stark realized that he was wrong. He apologized. And from that, they were able to like build upon their relationship. And I think most modern day relationships, that you argue and that's it. You don't talk to them again. I think it's a beautiful thing when people reconcile like that.
I mean, that's just called emotional maturity, isn't it?
You don't just cancel someone and try not to, and you don't talk to them ever again, right? So, yeah.
That's not how relationships works.
Definitely.
That's not how human beings should interact with each other.
Yeah. I was gonna say as well because I thought the reason why I love this anime as well is because it's very natural in terms of telling us about its world. I'm recently in like episode 6 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and the way that they talk about demons and the way that they help build up the world is so unnatural. It's like they're very explicit in terms of, oh hey, this is what demons look like. Have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll keep talking about it because it's just a highlight. It's to illustrate a point. So Jujutsu Kaisen, it's very, very stiff, and it's like, oh hey, this is what the demon levels are, and this is what these are all of the rules of like the governing authority on the extermination of the demons. And then we look at Frieren, and it's so natural in terms of like it wasn't really stiff when they explained what the lotus meant in that culture. I think it's very cute that that both of them accidentally bought like a bracelet with the lotus representing romance, and I think it's so funny. It's a funny joke, and it was such a and that's another thing with Frieren as well. It's so amazing that it's able to be very serious, it's able to be very romantic, and it's able to be really funny all at the same time. So really brilliant storytelling. Yeah.
Very nice. Very good.
Yeah. Of course, the next question is, who do you think best girl is actually?
It's quite a bit difficult. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
That much.
Because I'm thinking, well, okay, Fern's a bit young, but she's young, and that's a good thing as well. She's a bit tsundere as well.
She can be very harsh too.
Yeah. And in terms of like the benefits of Frieren, I suppose. I mean, she's pretty old, like, and
I mean, she might be physically very old, but I think Stein commented it on that they're actually just 3 children and he's only an adult.
Yeah, well,
like just a slightly funny comment.
Because I think Frieren herself, like her emotional maturity does not match her physical age, which is what she's like 1,000 years old, right? But,
I mean, the problem is Frieren, like most of her time alive, was just spent in the woods alone and probably not talking to any humans or elves, and no wonder she doesn't have much emotional maturity.
Yeah, which is like I find it so interesting whenever people try to say like a particular anime character is autistic because they're just very socially awkward, which is like she's not autistic. It's just that she's not been interacting with humans for a very, very long time. So
she actually is.
Oh really?
I mean, it was like a quote. Like it wouldn't, even if she was autistic, it wouldn't even change really much.
I guess there's that relatability, I suppose.
Well, maybe, yeah.
But I think I've settled for like Frieren as best girl because as much as Fern is like Fern's taken, obviously, but this is something that I've been talking about in terms of like what's the name of the anime I'm referring to? It's
you meant
No, not Jujutsu
Jujutsu
Kaisen.
Kaisen or the
I was
film?
thinking of The Dangers in My Heart. Have you watched that?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, really? Okay,
Sorry.
no. I'll show you one picture of it, and for our regular viewers, you'll know. Dangers in My Heart. It's literally about this much taller girl having a crush on this really short guy, and the short guy also likes her, but they don't confess their love until like I think in the next season. So I did a video on this as well because I think there's something with it, like there's just something so appealing about like an older woman, right?
Oh,
Because
Nissan.
yeah, because I think there's just the appeal of it, right? Is you want to be able to be nurtured by someone, right? And you want to be someone, not someone that's not your actual mom, and someone outside of your family who's a bit older to tell you, oh hey, I'm proud of you, and I think you did a good job. And I think that's there's something so appealing about that. Of course, like my preference is always for like a younger woman, but yeah, there's that's such an interesting appeal in that older figure in your life saying, like, patting you on the head, saying, "Oh, hey, good job." So, which I feel like,
Now you're
yeah,
just like Stein.
yes, yes, I'm
No,
just like Sign now.
but I do understand the appeal, and I've
Yeah.
read somewhere that one reason might with the new generations that they prefer like Onisan types is that they never from their family got any love from their mother or other family members and just want a woman to love them.
I see, I see, I see.
Which I can get behind, I think.
Yeah, I think yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason, considering how there's very little parenting among younger generations now, raised by iPads, all raised by iPads.
Yeah, that was a real disaster.
Yeah, that's our conclusion on Frieren, which is it's been cool. I think it's good halfway into the season. I'm still really into it. It's still really funny. It hasn't really lost its charm. So yeah, I hope it continues the momentum into, like, I think it's releasing up to episode 26. So
That was very nice. Also, just one thing to add. With the guy who said Total Demon F is cringe.
yeah.
I think one reason why some people say that is because demon girls in the show were like cutely
Oh,
drawn. Like Aurora got good design, and the other one got a very good design.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe just because of that. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, I it is kind of cringe. I think it's always been cringe in anime when they try to make demons look cute. Because, well, okay,
I mean,
like,
this one it makes sense.
yeah, yeah, because obviously, like,
I mean,
Satan is like acts as used to be the angel of Oh, I'm really butchering this now, but Satan's like an angel of light, or acts like an angel of light, and he tries
was.
to was an angel of light. And he was very beautiful as well. So, like, it's not thematically inconsistent for a demon to look cute and to seduce us in that manner. But I've always found it cringe for, like, oh hey, it looks cute, so I'm still gonna bang it because even though it's a demon, so
That's
it-
retarded. But
yeah,
when Frieren, it makes sense because they wanna prey on humans by looking
mm,
good.
yeah,
Also, the
definitely.
humans thing.
So, and I think
Yeah.
that's the, like, they're very realistic succubi as well. Like that's another thing about anime which I've always found odd, which is succubus, even though they're fictional characters, but the way that they've been portrayed in terms of, like, oh no, they're just, you should want to be seduced by a succubus, and it's very cringe when they do that. So yeah, all well and good, all well and good. This will be, I'm just aware of a time, which we're nearing the 30-minute mark. So last bit of the day, we're talking about the deletion of babies now. Of course, we can't say the A word on YouTube because even though I don't want, like, it'll be struck down because YouTube doesn't like talking about real issues like the deletion of babies. The
Fair
thread
point, yeah.
is how do you pronounce it? I don't want to
Like,
butcher it.
I think this is like I think it's sort of expose thread, one of
Yeah,
these types, kinda.
yeah.
By Sir Abdullah, I can't say his first name sadly.
I don't want to try say that either because it's like it's the N word, but it's been really modified. So Yeah.
But it's really funny, mate. So respect on him for that.
However, so the original tweet was what was it? It was lifenews.com. It was about this white woman, white teenager, after she was unfortunately forced upon. We'll say forced upon because we can't say the R word on YouTube.
Yes.
And I think it's always tragic when that happens. It's outside of marriage, and it's not the proper, when the union between man and woman has been so desecrated like that. It's been
Stomped upon it and what's the other word?
so
I forgot,
disregarded.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that works.
It's always a tragedy when that happens. So, however, is that tragedy? Are we going to use that tragedy then and then inflict pain upon the baby inside, which is still a victim? And I do agree as well, which is why I myself, my preference is not to race mix, right? I do agree that there
Yes.
is, because I think the kid was brown, unfortunately. Yeah, so I think
Nice.
it's unfortunate when race mixing happens as well. I do agree with that, but it's still a child. It's still human. And when unfortunate situations like this happen, we shouldn't then delete that baby, right? So, which is why it's amazing that all of our Oomfies here, I even see a lot of people who are like, oh hey, yeah, murder is murder. W for the woman who didn't delete the baby. And it's amazing all of these right wingers come and support like this woman. And yeah, it's cool to see that people are still properly pro life. Yeah, it's great. It's the defense of innocent life is it's so brilliant to see on the internet. Even though there's a bunch of people who disagreed, right? So yeah.
Well, I think it's just me, but I think we should. How do I say it properly?
Yeah.
Delete the life of the guy who forced his will on her.
Yeah.
I think that's a good step in the right direction.
Definitely. It's a shame there's not a Catholic on here because I think, because I'm fully in support of we are allowed to say death penalty. So I am actually in support of the death penalty for certain crimes. Is there a position in the Orthodox Church on the death penalty?
Modern one, I can't say really, but
I think,
I've never seen a problem with death penalty
yeah, definitely.
in my whole life.
Because pretty sure the Catholic Church is against the death penalty for some odd reason. Because, and I say for some odd reason because it is biblically supported. And there is a really, if you guys haven't seen the Mike Winger video, go ahead and just search up the Mike Winger video because it's very clear in the Bible that governments should have a penalty for at least murder, right? It doesn't have to be I would extend that as well to sins where people force themselves on other people. But yeah, I think there's no problem with the death penalty, right? So, anyway.
Wasn't like one line in the Bible, worse, better said, about whoever offends these of mine should hang a rock around his neck and should throw himself in the ocean, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's whoever stumbles these little children, right? So, yeah, like Jesus was in support of it. So yeah, it's amazing. As I said, it's amazing that there's a bunch of pro-life folks, even people who I usually wouldn't agree with, coming out against the deletion of babies as well. So it's really, really good.
I saw some of these too, like a specific Polish guy.
Yes, a very specific Polish guy who we won't mention the name of because, but like I wouldn't, yeah, we would disagree on everything else, but it's cool that like we can agree on this point, right?
Heartwarming. The person you hate made a great point.
Well, we'll wrap it up there today. Do you have any message you can say to our Oomfies on this day?
Well, is it okay if I maybe say one quote and don't say whoever said that?
Yeah, feel free.
All right. Love, the natural, healthy kind, is indeed what makes the world go round, and is the most beautiful, holy miracle we've ever seen here on this earth. But without that deadly hate of that which threatens what we love, love is an empty word, a catchword for hippies, queers, and cowards. In my bad English pronunciation, I managed to say that.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you very much, Melon.
No
So,
problem, sir.
thank you very much to our to our guest here on this fine Saturday evening that we're recording this. If you would like to see our previous episodes of Oomfie News, I have the playlist available for you here. Otherwise, I hope you Oomfies have a lovely rest of your day. I think I'll be releasing this on it's either a Wednesday or a Saturday evening. I haven't decided quite yet, or it could be another day, which yeah, I guess while I do that, I will suffer. And you guys will let me know in the comments that it's not actually the day that I said. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to the latest episode number 4 of Oomfie News, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.